Good morning. Welcome everyone to Elite Currency. My name is Chris, and today we're going to take a look at the charts, technical analysis, HARP charts to be precise, and see what kind of setups there could be available. First of all, be aware though that trading for exchange and other financial markets is considered high risk, may not be suitable for everyone. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. This webinar is for educational and informational purposes only and is not to be considered advice. Please be aware by continuing watching this webinar, you agree with this disclaimer and you are also aware of the risk involved when trading. Thank you so much for your attention. Wanted to give you a quick info just in case you're watching this live webinar or perhaps the recording. My name is Chris, and together with Nenet, we do analysis at Admiral Markets. We're traders. We also have our own website, elitecurrency.com, and check out this particular link, all of our systems and tools, because if you join Admiral Markets through us, then you get free credit and courses. So I think that's great value. Please check that out after the webinar. All right. Oh, one more message before we take a look at the charts, though. Please be aware that today is the last day for the Accu Marine Math system at a discount, 809 euros. Today, the discount ends. So just wanted to make you aware of that if you're still interested, write us an email and we'll send you more information if you have questions, of course. Otherwise, please feel free just to order as is today. And we look forward to having you on board. All right, regarding the webinar today, guidelines, we're looking at patterns, MACD, momentum, stop loss basically is always the technical stop loss, a combination of pivot points with the high and low. And we're looking for the traditional TP, which is the next unbroken basically pivot point. All right, regarding the steps of what we're looking at regarding HARP charts, basically you can of course use the HARP system on it, but that's not all. The charts themselves have a lot of value. You can easily see trend as indicated by the green boxes here. You can use it for filters, making sure that you're not taking trades right into dangerous support or resistance. You can use it for momentum. We always want to trade with momentum on our sides, and that's why these colored candles make it so easy, and the colored bars at the bottom so easy to match up whether there is bullish or bearish momentum. It takes analysis to a very simplistic level, making it very, very intuitive. And last but not least, the setups themselves that we can be found. Once again, you got basically HARP charts is just more than the system. It's a charting package. But within that charting package, we also have systems, and we're yesterday showing a couple of examples of arrow setups, and you can see here too, maybe you see the blue arrows there indicated by the green circles. Those would be arrow setups as this particular example goes up. All right, that's a quick intro on what we're looking at. Let's take a look at the live charts now, finally. And we'll start with the euro dollar. Euro dollar, I took a long in the live webinar we had with Admiral Markets, right? Today, perhaps you were there as well, 8:45 a.m. Central European Time, 6:45 GMT time. And I'm still in that long from that live webinar. And you can see that the HARP charts would have basically given you the same potential here. Got a couple of blue arrows. Let me show you that with a green circle right there. You see those three arrows? So, the longs I took could have easily been seen as well based on those arrows. Now, I'm not recommending, don't get me wrong, to take every single arrow. That's not the point. But the point is that if you see a potential trade, a bouncing spot, then you can use those arrows to initiate a trade, like a trigger. That's what I mean. So I did my wave, those trades were based on wave analysis. As I explained, I don't want to dive into those details and repeat myself there, but there were reasons, wave analysis, fibs, all kind of reasons that along made sense. And so I took it, but if you are looking at the HARP charts and you see those reasons, you can analyze those reasons, that the HARP can help you with understanding when could be a good entry. All right, so that's basically what I wanted to say. So ultimately, price is bouncing off R1. That's not so strange, always a strong resistance. So what I expect now is price to dip here, go to the moving averages, maybe bounce off the M3, turn around, and I think there's a good chance of going to M4, because if you look at, well, the 4 hours is bullish. Okay, so we have momentum on our side. The trend is still down because we got red candles. Right, so it's still a counter trend trade, but here we have green candles already. Actually, yesterday, remember, we were talking about the long setup here, and we were saying here, don't go long because we're right at resistance. Good thing we did, because look at that. Hit the long to moving average, clear resistance zone, moving down away from that. So I think it was excellent reversal trading in the sense that we took the reversal at the right time and we avoided the reversal at the horrible spot. So I think that was great. Now we're back into an upside mode, and now it's a bit different because we already tested this resistance. We got divergence going on. There is a chance for price to get up higher. So, from that point of view, 50-minute chart momentum is on our side, but I do think we need a bit of retracement. I think we need to see, let's take a look what we need to see. 50-minute chart is retracing. So I think maybe even the pivot point, because don't forget, we are in a downtrend still. We do have bullish momentum. The best trade was down in here. I'm already at break even, by the way, for those that followed me. So I have no risk on this trade. So if price, I might think about a scale in. If price hooks back and bounces basically probably roughly in here, roughly around the pivot. So I would like to see a 15-minute retracement and a bounce. That's what I'm looking for. Or 5-minute as well, as long as it gets back to the pivot. I think that could be a good intraday trade to the upside with R2 as a target for the moment. Intraday, I have the target at R3 as a swing trade. Intraday target, I think, is R2 at 112. All right, so that's my thoughts on the euro dollar. Pound USD, basically great momentum to the downside, made a correction here and is falling. So at this moment, let's take a look at momentum. What's going on with momentum? We obviously see strong momentum. Look at these bars here, thick red, good trend here as well. So that's all good. We got good momentum hourly as well. We have a bit of a retracement going on at this point. Price is going sideways. So that's okay. And on a 50-minute chart, let's take a look at the momentum candles. Okay, we got a bit of a consolidation here, got a bit of a expanding wedge going on. So I think that at this point, price is having struggle with the M2. So we need to see a break of M2 before we can see S1. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. And you see a big struggle here with that the M2, sorry. Big struggle. So I think that price needs to go back to the pivot. That could be a good bouncing spot. If I see price move up to the daily pivot, and then I see a red arrow here, I think that could be a very good short down to S1. I think that could be a good intraday trade. If it doesn't get up to the pivot, but breaks this bottom here, this one, it might be even worth the pending order. Let me check that. The R2R is a bit tight because the S1 is the target, so we only have 40 pips, and the risk is going to be the same. So that's a bit tight. So I might skip that. I might skip that one. I think it's a bit too tight. So I'd rather wait for the pullback. All right, let's take a look at the dollar yen. We were talking about the triangle. If it breaks the triangle to the upside yesterday, breakout trade, but it broke the triangle to the downside. Maybe you took that reversal. At this moment, we're in a downtrend. At least we have bearish momentum, that's for sure. And I was looking for price to get to the pivot. Daily pivot point. So I'm here too, still waiting for price to get up there. Now we do have momentum to the downside on this 15-minute chart. So that's something we might want to consider. Let's take a look. That's good. So 5-minute chart. All right, 5-minute chart. I think we need a break below M2. So from that point of view, this fractal needs to break. If that fractal breaks, I think there's a good chance of getting to S1. That might be worth a pending order. Let's take a look. That could be worth it. I'm not a big fan of pending orders, but that could be worth a breakout trade. Right there, let's see. But I like it the best at the pivot point, but I'm not sure if it's going to get there because we see already price making lower lows lower highs, and that 50-minute chart has momentum to the downside. All right, so I'm not sure if price can get up to the pivot, to be honest. And maybe a good idea could be to keep an eye on this 50-minute chart, and I would like to see how this 50-minute candle closes. If it's a close below this fractal, a close near the low, I think that's a good breakout 15-minute candle. So we can check 4 minutes from now. All right, what do we got going? I would like to take a look, besides these majors, take a look at the Euro odd, because that's a swing trade I talked about yesterday. And let me open the chat box quickly. Good question on the euro dollar. We'll talk about that in a second. Now, quickly about the euro odd swing trade. I don't know if anyone remembered, but the only swing trade I talked about, because there were some intraday trade ideas that we had on the euro, I think, right? No, the Aussie, odd CAD, pound odd closing for 81 pips in our session yesterday. And there was one swing trade we discussed yesterday. That was the euro odd. And I took that and it went close for 95 pips. So I was very happy with that. Did anyone take this euro odd short? Let me talk you through that one basically quickly, and I will take a look again at current price. But this was bearish momentum. All right, 1 hour chart. We were looking for an end of that correction, and that did occur here with this candle. Got the arrow, and we got the end of the retracement here because the MACD turned thin. Now I was a bit lucky with the stop loss perhaps, but tactically I did put it above the quarter level, which was enough to survive. Then you got another setup here as this turned thin. That setup was even better because that was another 25 pips higher, and that was actually the best one. And I aimed for the minus 61.8 target, and boom, 95 pips, or maybe even more for you if you took it at the second setup. Here again, there was a second arrow. So you can see how great these arrows are, providing good setup swing trades, and boom, great trade to the downside. So that was the setup I was talking about yesterday. There were two moments to enter, one a bit better than the other, one going for 95, one for 120. So I was very happy with those setups. That was the only swing trade we talked about, and it ended up great. So then it took one I'll show you in a second as well on a different pair. But regarding the current situation, I think that this is obviously still a momentum, a bearish momentum, but we're looking for an hourly turnaround. We need this to turn thin again. We are in a resistance box. If this is turning thin, I think we can see a turnaround and a continuation downwards. So I do think that has potential on the euro odd as well for continuation. You see the momentum is up, so what we need basically is for price to show respect to this resistance box. We need momentum to lose its power because it is pushing, and we don't know if it's going to do that. It could just keep rising. Euro is strong today, so we don't know if that's going to happen. And if it doesn't respect this M3, then maybe not. Maybe it will go up to R1. So that's a big if. Pound odd, by the way, is a bit different. Momentum is still down. Trend is down. And we're seeing a 1 hour retracement. So here too, this is looking like a bear flag actually. Look at that. So we're looking for the momentum to lose. I think that will happen. Let's check it out. We're looking at the harp candles. We need a break below this flag, right? So preferably break below the M2 and fractal here. That should cause the hourly to lose the thickening of the MACD. That would be a setup once it loses the thickness on the hourly. On a 15-minute chart or 5-minute chart, I think it would be a good setup. Let's see. Either at the pivot point, if price gets up to the pivot point and then we get an arrow, or that seems the most likely at the moment, but if it doesn't, the break, pull back, and then an arrow right in here. All right, so now not everyone in this webinar has these. I understand that not everyone has these indicators, but don't get discouraged by that. You can still use the analysis for your benefit, just knowing where the price levels are and waiting for price action to confirm that. All right, but you can still benefit just from the general analysis and then implement it using your own tools. But if you are interested in using these HARP charts yourself, then we do have a special offer for you where you can get it for 33 euros a month. All right, so if you're interested in that, just check out the link. Let me show you in a second. Let me get that. All right. So to finish this analysis, pound odd is good at the pivot. Euro odd is good if we see the 1 hour turn. What else do we have left to discuss? We got the odd cat making a continuation. I got stopped out at about break even yesterday because it didn't continue, but eventually throughout the Asia session we did get a push through. The odd USD, I got taken out. I did move the stop loss below these fractal bottoms. I tweeted about that through my Twitter handle that I'm moving the stop loss to tighten because there's a pivot point. I didn't want to risk too much, so I got out at minus 10 pips. I didn't want to risk more than that because once this fractal breaks, you can see price is already below the moving averages. It's below the pivot, so who knows how far this can go. I didn't want to stay in that trade. I tried it long, basically based on the fact that we bounced at the pivot. We had a blue arrow, so I thought that was worth the risk, but it didn't pan out, so I tightened the loss there for minus 11 or so. Now, are there any pairs left? Let me take a quick look and we'll make a conclusion. Pound yen I want to take a look at. And there was a swing trade that Nena took, basically. And he had, I think, 120 pips. You can see, took it here, right there. He took 115 pips win, and it was 40 risk. Let me write that down for you. This is the win, and this is the risk. So it's almost just a tad shy of 3-to-1 trade on the pound yen. That was a great swing trade. I took the euro out, he took the pound yen. So that was basically, if you look at it, pretty clear and simple. Momentum, down, retracement, here, and the retracement ended somewhere here. We got an arrow 2 indicating that would have been one. That's a HARP entry. Anyone taking the ACU entry would have been probably looking somewhere at here or at here as this basically turns. But you got also arrows. You got a lot of ways to enter one particular chart. That's the cool thing about the HARP charts. But anyhow, that was yesterday. That was Nenet's entry. Regarding the pound yen, it seems like I'm a bit late here. I was looking for retracement in the live webinar with Admiral Markets to this zone. We got very close to it, but it looks like price has moved away already. We got an arrow here. We got momentum change. That could have been an entry, and the price seems to be moving away from it. So that seems a bit late already. Anyone who took that one, any HARP trader here that took that one is up very nicely, as you can see. But the stop loss would have had to be above the pivot, I think. So that's it's not a small one, or at least above this top. All right. So to summarize it all, let's take a review again quickly. Euro odd looking for pullback, but it doesn't look like we're getting it. Might still get it though, but it's pushing. Now, Iron asks, why did I take profit? Because at the R1, because I'm expecting a bigger push up to 112.25. That is my main target for today, and there could be a pause and a retracement at the R1, but I just think that that's a retracement for more upside. So I don't want to take profit there because I'm waiting for my main target of today. You have a valid point that you say, well, how about if it gets here, you can re-enter. But the thing is, as you can see, it might not get there, and it might keep pushing, and then I took profit and can't rejoin. So That's basically the reason. Yes, there's a chance we can get a decent bounce, but maybe not. Main target, I'd rather stick with the target at the main target. So let's see if we get the retracement. If not, then I'm only going to stick to this entry. Pound USD. Very choppy. And I'm going to keep an eye on the 5-minute chart to see if there's any potential. Maybe here, there is an arrow at this moment. It could be one, I don't know. I'd rather be more careful though, I think, and skip this pound for the moment. But it could break and go, but I still rather wait. I still rather let it break, pull back, and continue. For instance, that would be better. Maybe a 50-minute chart. Let's check that one out. Bullish candle. You see, I don't like that. I'd rather wait. Let's see if we can get back to the pivot. That would make it interesting. Back to the pivot, and then show and wait for the first red arrow after that. All right, dollar yen. Got the break, got the close below that level we were talking about. That's good. Got good momentum at this moment. Oh. So that looks like a potential for continuation. I think that this looks like a breakout. Let's take a look at quickly at the hourly. Momentum very strong. 50-minute chart. Setup was right here at this turn and the arrow here. That would have been a 50-minute pullback. Now we're looking at the 5-minute chart. And looking for a continuation of that pullback. Just trying to see where the stop loss would be. Stop loss should be above this candle now, which is here. So what's the risk now involved? Let's take a look. 45, target is 35, but it could break lower. We have to realize that that could be just the first target. Yeah, I think that looks good. I think that trail stopping it behind these 5-minute fractals makes sense. And let's see how it continues. All right. 5-minute fractals though, and let's see. This is a continuation once again of this 50-minute turnaround. So it's more of a 5-minute intraday scalp trade. Pound yen is behind us. That's already pushed. Let's see. What else do we have left to discuss? Euro odd, looking for a turnaround here. Pound odd, looking for the hourly 2 to turn around. And a break of this bear flag, break of this fractal 2. All right, but I think the hourly probably is the best. Wait for a good hourly push below this candle. Close below that low here, this purple line, I think should do it. Then this should turn thin. I think that would be the setup we're waiting for with the stop loss below this top. So the pound out, I would keep to the hourly. Look for close below 199. Same for the euro odd, looking for basically this to thin for downside trade. So those are two setups on the euro odd and pound odd. Euro dollar looking for price to get down to the daily pivot, and then looking for the first arrow. That's a 5-minute setup, intraday setup to the upside as a scale in. Pound USD waiting for price to break or go to the pivot. Wouldn't mind skipping this one necessarily. Dollar yen is both a 15 setup here and a 5 here at this moment. Looking for continuation. And that's about it. I think those are the best probably opportunities. Dollar yen, euro odd, pound odd. Pound yen was good, but that's kind of past the station. I just missed that, unfortunately. But that was a good turnaround and follow through. The momentum is coming into the market. So that was a good setup, but I missed that in between these webinars. But we did talk about it in Avon Markets webinar. That was nice. Otherwise, Aussie is still making a correction, but I'm out of that trade. There could be a chance for price to regain momentum to the upside, but I need price to break back above at least 72.70. All right. Otherwise, yesterday we had a good trade on the pound odd, of course. 15-minute chart just to recap. And look how much price actually continued. I was already talking about the fact that the M3 will probably not hold it. We'll probably see it push through it and look all the way down, a lot further than that. Massive downside, 400 pips. I caught 81 of those, but it went really a lot. That was the setup of yesterday. Euro odd plus 95 swing trade we talked about in the live webinar. Those are the two main trades of yesterday. Aussie break even and Aussie CAD break even as well for me. So about 170 pips yesterday. As you can see with yesterday's webinar, let's see what the euro odd and pound odd can do for us today. Hopefully just as good. Dollar yen is continuing. We can keep an eye on this a bit as we go along. Any questions from you for me? Regarding those HARP charts, if you think that's something for you, of course you can just benefit from this analysis. Hopefully, if your analysis agrees, of course, it's always your choice. Remember, but if you think these HARP charts you would benefit from these HARP charts, take a look. FX System, go to Elite Currency, FX Systems, click on HARP charts here, and you get access to the charts themselves. And you can monitor those setups with the arrows, etc. If you're interested in the ACU system, don't forget that today is the last day. The ACU pivot point, yeah, you want to make sure that it's on 10. Start hours on 10, indeed. That it would be better to adjust, indeed. Good question. All right. So let's see how this euro dollar. We already have an arrow actually on the euro, but I think that it's a bit too soon. I would like a bit deeper correction. I would like to see at least the M3 before I would take a new arrow, especially because I'm already in that trade probably. But even without that trade, I think that you don't want to take all arrows. You gotta take the ones where it's a clear bouncing spot. There's a clear reason to take it. Yes, we are in an upside momentum, but I thought that this pullback is particularly shallow. I wouldn't take this arrow. If it does go back to M3 or the pivot, prefer pivot, and then shows an arrow, that would be the arrow I would like to take. All right, and if you're don't have access to these HARP charts because you're just following along, for this free webinar, then what you probably would like to see is probably a bullish candle with a decent strength on the 5 or 15-minute chart after retracing down to either of these support levels. All right, that's a good 15-minute candle. It's a good 15-minute breakout. So I'm going to move the stop loss to 83, reduce the risk here a bit. Or 87. And just use a very small stop loss there. And I'll be aiming for the S1. Let's see if it can make one more dash to that target. All right, I'm not giving a lot of space. This is just a 5-minute continuation trade, so I don't want to be too luxurious in how much time I give it. If it were a 15, if I would have taken the 50-minute arrow here, then I would probably just move to break even. All right, folks. Well, no questions. So that's it then. Thanks so much. I think once again, last recap. Euro dollar pullback. If it happens, great. If not, then I'm not taking it. Pound USD. Let's take a look. Looks like it's breaking to the downside. I was already talking about the potential turn up at 145, 145.25, and it seems to be happening indeed. It seems to be breaking as well. So this could be good shorts later today. I would say that we could see the potential for this to continue falling. It makes a lot of sense. And this could be actually a good pullback as is. Maybe a tad deeper up to the M2, and that could be then a continuation trade down to the S1. That looks good for intraday shorts now. Dollar yen is looking good for intraday, and for swing trades, I think pound odd, euro odd, once again, turnarounds, especially pound odd, I would say, because the euro is a bit stronger at this point. Pound yen could still be good, but what has to happen is price has to hit S1, bounce, and we have to look for blue candles followed by red candles for turnaround. And if you're not using harp charts, then in that case, we would need a pullback to the 21 EMA. All right. Aussie break above this could still be intraday longs, but we have to be careful. The euro dollar, pound dollar diverging. So let's see. That's a bit of a caution as well for trading those. And that's it. So thanks again. Wish you good trading, and keep an eye on if you like to keep an eye on these trades with me. Will be as I can updating Twitter account, so you can see if I have any updates. I'll try to Twitter as fast as I can regarding any updates. Elite Currency at Elite Currency for the Elite Currency Twitter handle. I will write that down quickly for you. Next week, we got new webinars with Admiral Markets, of course, and live webinars and Elite Currency. We got Tuesday, Wednesday. Tonight, Nanette will talk with Admiral Markets about multiple time frames, and tomorrow we take a look at price action. So I hope to see you in those webinars as well. Cheers, everyone, and good trading.